Hi everyone, it's Mari. Welcome back to my channel. I'm going to be creating a 12 by 12 scrapbooking layout today for the Vicki Boutin design team using the gorgeous color study collection. Here you can see some still images of the project that I'm going to be creating for you today. And I had so much fun working with the color study stencils to create my background. I'm working on a piece of Vicki Boutin foundations paper, and I'm going to show you all 6 of the stencils that are part of the color study collection. There's 2 different sets. This is one set here, and then this is another set. You can see there's lots of really fun patterns on these different stencils, and they are, I believe the dimensions are 8 by 6, and just some really cool different ways that you can use these. And I wanted to use them today to create my background using some of the art crayons and also the stencil brush from Vicki's mixed media line. So I'm going to start off with this just basic plain piece of foundations paper. There's no gesso on it or anything like that. And I just really wanted to use this really beautiful bright white background for creating some colorful layers with the stencils. So I started off by scribbling out the bright pink crayon onto a piece of packaging over to the right there. And now you can just see I'm going to blend through that stencil with the stencil brush. And this is just a dry brushing technique. My stencil is completely dry. I've just picked up that art crayon with the brush, and now I'm just going to blend over the stencil. Now I should have turned my stencil horizontal, but I wasn't sure at this point what I wanted to do for my layout. So for that first stenciling that I do, I had my stencil placed vertically on the layout, but then I turn the next pattern horizontal and I go in with my next color. And I'm going to do a rainbow of colors from top to bottom on my project here. So you can see I started off with pink and I'm going into an orange tone, and then I'll do yellow and so on and so forth. And I'm trying to choose patterns that butt up against each other that are going to be sort of like a little bit of a contrast to each other. So I went from the floral to the lined pattern that's kind of going every which way. Then this is a circle pattern with overlapping circles here. And you can just see that I'm trying to extend this a little bit farther to the left and the right as I go down here, just kind of like varying the lengths of the line of the stencil pattern a little bit so that it's not all just like a uniform width from top to bottom. And I'm going to now go in with some green, and then I'll do a little bit of blue, and in that way just creating a really nice soft and subtle background pattern for my project. Now there is going to be lots of this that gets covered up, and I know that oftentimes people will say, why do you create that gorgeous background and then cover it? Well, what I always am trying to work towards is creating a pattern on the background that will just provide some pattern or color or whatever the case might be for whatever it is that I'm working on, that will just kind of poke through in around the elements that I add on top of it. So just like anything else that's layered, this is going to be one of the layers, and only certain parts of it are going to show, and I'm totally okay with that. So now I'm going to just add a little bit of water to my art crayons, and I'm going to go ahead and splatter that liquefied pigment onto my project. So I'm going to use the watered down pink on the pink strip that I've stenciled, and so on and so forth, all the way down the paper until I have just some splatters across each one of these color strips. And that's just going to add a little bit more of an organic or textured look to my project as well. It just adds another little bit of texture and detail and makes it look a bit more interesting. So you can just see that's the next layer that's going to go on top of my stenciling. So I'm going to finish that up. I'm just trying to get a little bit of color on each one of these strips splattered on top. This is a super simple technique that does add a lot of just extra interest to your project. And I just love the simplicity of this technique. I think it's just so fun. And I highly recommend getting those stencils out and trying to create a background. Now, I also wanted to use some of the washi tape. I don't think I've used any of the color study washi yet, and I definitely wanted to try to do that, and I love it. It's gorgeous. This one is just that beautiful floral. It has all of the different colors from the collection in it. It's so pretty. And now I'm just going to take my ruler and make sure that I have put that on straight. So I'm going to make sure that the measurement is the same on each end. And now I'm going to go in with that really pretty vibrant blue. This is a tone on tone diagonal stripe. And once again, you're not going to see all of this washi when I get all of the different elements on top, but it's just going to kind of poke out here and there, which I love. I love that idea. And it doesn't have to be dominant necessarily, but I just want it to be a subtle element of layer on my background. So here you can just see I've got 3 strips of the different washis from the collection. That bottom one is the one that has the overlapping circles. And this is the photo that I'm going to use today. I definitely have scrapped this photo before, but I'm going to use it in a different way today for kind of like a different theme with my journaling. And I just really like this photo for what the layout's going to be about and how it coordinates with the title and everything. So it's a black and white photo. It is square. I have, or I'm going to back it with this orange tone on tone patterned paper from the 8x6 paper pad. If you haven't invested in the 8x6 paper pad from Color Study yet, I highly recommend that you do that. It is a must-have for any collection. I always say I really love having that small paper pad to work with because the patterns on it are a little bit smaller in scale, and it's just really perfect for matting photos and that kind of thing. Now, I did pick out a bunch of die cuts that I hadn't used yet, and I really wanted to use a bunch of my die cuts up on this project, and that's kind of what I was going for, or one of the focuses of this project was to see how many of the different die cut pieces I could layer onto this project within the same theme of creativity. And working with that and what I had in mind for the journaling, I just really wanted to try to create kind of like a horizontal line through the middle of this kind of vertical stenciling background. And I wanted to choose different pieces from the die cut packs that I hadn't used yet and that I thought went with the theme that I was going for here. So that's how I went about choosing the different die cut pieces. The great thing about, of course, Vicki's collections always is that all of the die cut pieces just work so well with all of the elements of the collection. Now, this is another one of the 8x6 papers, and I wanted to do a little bit of paper tearing here. I want this paper to be a little bit more narrow than the photograph and the other elements that are in the photo mat so far. And so I'm going to tear the bottom portion, and then I'm going to cut the paper in sections so that I've got a little piece that's going to poke out the top as well. And again, you're not going to see all of this. There's just going to be parts of it that are going to show, and that's okay. So I just wanted to choose a different pattern. I like the circle shapes that are on this pattern paper and the color. And I'm going to just layer that behind my photo. And then that's going to be it for the papers that I use for my photo mat. I am going to put other things in the photo mat area, but you'll see that as I go along here. And now I'm just going to kind of get an idea of the placement of where I want things, and then I will go ahead and get them all stuck down. So I really love that the phrase that's on that pack of crayons. It says color outside the lines, and just love that. I think it's a really cool sort of theme for this project, and it goes along nicely with the title, which is Create Yourself. And I thought about adding an IE to the end of self to say create your selfie, since this is a selfie, but I thought that might be a little bit too much. So I'm just going to use it as it is. But anyways, it was a thought for sure. So I just love this little parrot, and I hadn't used any of the parrots yet, or the parakeet. I don't know what exact type of bird this is, but I just thought it's so cute, and I definitely wanted to use it, and I wanted to make it look like it was kind of perched over in that area at the end of the title. So this is kind of the basic placement and the die cuts that I choose. I do have them all stuck down now. I've got lots of layers of foam adhesive on the different pieces, and I added that butterfly sticker from the sticker book. I'm going to add another one of the die cut flowers, and I just love the sticker book for all of the little bits that are there as well. I love this little circle piece, and I wanted to add that in over to the left. And now you can just see the washi's kind of poking out here and there, and you can just see the stenciling is poking out in and around all of these different elements. And I'm just trying to add some things to fill in the spaces. So I really wanted to add something to kind of join the crayon box and the photo together. So I'm going to use this flower. I actually end up moving the flower down closer to the title because I just thought that was sort of a weird placement where I put it right now where it is. But I also wanted to use a few of the little metallic pieces, or the iridescent metallic pieces with the foiling from this sticker book as well. I add a little phrase sticker up at the top there that says "Do your thing," and then I actually add another label sticker behind that and over to the left a little bit, but I think I might do that off camera. I don't remember. Now there's some stickers that look like splatters, and I wanted to put those down as well. I just thought those were really fun, and you can just see I'm just trying to use up lots of my embellishments and get lots of detail on here with the die cuts and the stickers. So I'm just going to finish up that part of the process. You can see I added a chipboard sticker to the bottom underneath the title. I did some stitching all the way around the perimeter and on that New Day die cut piece. And the chipboard underneath the title is kind of askew right now, but it says "Yes, girl, yes." And I am going to stick that down with some liquid adhesive here in a bit. Now I'm taking some of the iridescent foiled circle stickers from the sticker book. I'm adding them with some glue dots to each one of the flowers, the fussy cut flowers and the die cut flowers. And that's just going to add a little bit more of sparkle and shine to the layout. Now I'm going to add a little bit of white splatter to the whole layout. So I've covered my photo, but everything else is going to get white splattered. I love that look. And I just love that the Dina Wakley gloss spray adds some really nice texture with these white splatters. So I'm going to get that all over the place, really nice and textured. And you probably can't really appreciate it that well on camera, on the video, but the white splatter just is so stunning on these projects. I love it so much, and wherever it lands on the pink and that sort of thing, it just really pops. Now I also wanted to add some gold splatters, so I'm going to do that as well. And I'm just going to cover everything again here with the gold splatter, and that will finish up the splattering portion of this video. So I'm going to now adhere some journaling strips to the bottom underneath the title, and I'm going to add those on with some really skinny foam strip adhesive. That the journaling says to practice any art, no matter how well or badly, is a way to make your soul grow. And that is a Kurt Vonnegut quote. I love it. And so this layout really is just focusing on the idea of what does creativity mean to me personally. And well, it is a really huge part of my life, that's for sure. So here I'm just showing you a close-up of how this project looks. I really love how it just shines and all of the different elements that have been added. I hope you enjoyed this. Make sure you check the description box below to links to where you can find Vicki Boutin, and also links to all of the products that I have used here today. Have an amazing day, my friends. Stay well, stay safe, and I hope you get a chance to be creative in your creative space and do something that you just really love that brings you a lot of joy. Take care, and I'll see you again. Bye-bye.